This is Julien, and I'm here with Owen, and we're here in Miami, and what we want to talk about is the power of identity.
In psychology, what they'll teach you is one of the most powerful driving forces in your mind is the desire to be congruent to who you believe you are, okay? So if you think that you're like a low status person who doesn't deserve to be happy, you'll be congruent to that. If you believe that you're a high status person, then you'll find ways to be congruent to that as well. So as a human being, a major driving factor is the importance to fit into your social environment. So what we do is we're always testing out different identities, right? Like, where's the lane that I can fit in? Can I fit in here? Can I fit in there? Where can I fit in? And what you're doing is you're trying to find some kind of lane of your personality and your status where you're not going to be ostracized from the group, right? So if your brain thinks, okay, if I make 40 grand a year, if I'm dating a girl who's not too attractive, nobody will get mad at me. Well, now what'll happen is what's called your reticular activation system, RAS. Your RAS kicks in and it says, who is it that I am, and how can I make a personality around that? So let's say that you're a woman, for example. As a girl, if you're like, well, when I look too beautiful, all the girls call me a slut and a whore, right? And they judge me. Well, then maybe you take on an identity where even if you're a beautiful woman, you don't want to look too pretty, or you don't want to have too much like swagger. You don't want to be too fun because you're afraid you'll be criticized for it. So likewise as a man, right? It's like, oh, I don't want to be too successful. My friends will judge me. They say that making money is bad, or maybe if I have a girlfriend who's pretty, they're going to hit on her and be jealous. Things like that, right? So essentially what happens is you're testing out different lanes. So maybe for just a minute, you act like you're high status. You act in a way that's high status, but your friend's like, you're not that guy, sit down. And then you're like, okay, that doesn't work. But maybe you had good parents. That's why parenting is so important, where, when you kind of step up or have something that's kind of high status or fun, they're like, yay, good job, you did good, right? And you're testing it. Now, stop and think for a minute that whatever status you're at, in a lot of ways was determined in high school based on arbitrary events, just on how it went and then how you formed your identity, or even your parents. And again, it's just your freaking parents. Like, why should that be such a big deal, right? So again, the way it works is we test out different personality styles, different forms of status, and then when we find a lane, our reticular activation system, it finds all the little mannerisms to kind of fill in the painting. Even like for myself, coming up in this, learning how to go from being the low status guy, I was afraid to even wear a pair of sunglasses, like Oakley sunglasses. Like, am I allowed to wear Oakley sunglasses? Yeah. People like, you shouldn't be wearing Oakley sunglasses. Stop trying to be cool. I can remember that my sister worked at Sports Experts, and she gave me a pair of Oakley sunglasses for my birthday at age 20, and I was too afraid to wear them, right? So like, you see some like, pimp jacket like this, like all swagged out. If I was wearing this back then, I probably would have fainted, or had like a beard or something, right? So you start, like, as your sense of status changes, your swagger changes, your personality changes, the type of jokes you could say changes. The way, like, hey, say hi to people, the eye contact changes, the type of job that you expect changes. Like, right now, because we're used to the type of professions that we have, if this tanked, would you ever be like, oh, I guess that didn't work. I guess it's over then. I'm gonna go back and work at Lucky Brand Jeans. Because you have an identity to it now, right? Like, you could take all your entire self-help company and you could trash it in the garbage. Trash it, gone. And after the initial shell shock, and our brains come out of that shock, we'd be like, well, how do we get back to where we were, right? And I always even remember, like, I'd watch these shows about, like, Rome, for example, or like the Tudors or things like that. And, like, the head of Rome would get kicked out of Rome because some other army would come and kick them out. And the first thing they do is they're like, well, how the fuck do we get back in as the head of Rome? Yeah. Right? They're like, go get the army, get the fuck back in here, become the head again, right? So even if you go bankrupt, in your mind, you're that guy, you find a way back. But if you're in this like low status haze where you're walking through life, kind of like no spark in your eyes, kind of ho-hum, and just going through life like that, then you'll keep finding a way back to that. And we even see it where people who we've even worked with, and they start to actually get some success and they get a bit of money and their bodies can't handle it. It's like, oh, I got all these fans and like things are going awesome. And it's like that self-sabotage mechanism kicks in and they start to believe that like, you know, this thing is bad or that thing is bad or this person or that person's bad. And rather than traveling, being out here with us, like think of all the people that should be out here with us right now and just aren't here. And, you know, gone back to the doldrums. And it's like, on some level, like whenever I'm even trying to bring somebody up, I'm always trying to make them believe like, you deserve this, you've earned this, you should be here, it's okay to be at this level, like it's fine. And so that's like the sense of identity, and it's about picking the identity that you want and then slowly becoming congruent to that so your personality fits it, and your skills fit it, and your status fits it. And if it's not for you, it's not for you. We're not even saying this for everybody. You can be happy at any status level or any identity. But it's just that if you want more, and again, you know, your channel's about self-development, making a choice of who you're going to be is a major, major factor in that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'd say also, like, if you want more, in order to change this, is one, start being aware of whatever identity you think you're at right now. Because oftentimes it's like unconscious. You have no idea. You're like, well, this is just me, and you're being run on these things where it's like, you don't even know why. So if I take, say, you know, some of my stories, one identity that I really lived up to back in the day, like when you met me even, was like the destructive artist. You know, live fast, die young, fuck it all, like health, gone, doesn't matter. You know, it's
yeah,
like,
it was bad, by the way. He was literally staying in my kid's room, coughing for 4 months. Tell him how you couldn't even sleep.
Couldn't.
Dude, this is crazy. Tell him how you
so
couldn't
sick,
even
like,
fucking sleep.
I was so sick I had to wait till I was so tired till I lie down, and within 5 seconds I'd fall asleep or I'd start coughing. It's like sleep before you cough. I grew up as being like very square in a way. It's like get good grades, you know, hustle hard in school, etc., etc. And for me to snap out of that in order to say move to Los Angeles, do something more creative, I had to take on this new identity. And I went like a full 180. So I'm like square good grades to fuck it, die young, etc., etc. Moved to LA, that's when I met you, and I was like full Joaquin Phoenix, like in the movie I'm Still Here. We actually watched it together. I'm like, yes, look at him destroy his life. I was like so about it.
Go watch that movie, by the way. Talk about an identity. What's
insane.
it called? I'm Still Here?
I'm Still Here,
yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix. And it was just insane. I was like, fuck it, started drinking a lot, started smoking. Like that's when I started smoking back then. I never smoked before that, ever. I was just like, fuck it, like full on bought in and living up to this new identity. And to snap out of it, the hardest part was like actually being aware of this identity I was living up to, and then proactively being like, okay, this is me now. What's something more beneficial? Where do I want to be this year? And getting very precise in it too. It's not like, okay, I want to be a guy who's successful. Like vagueness kills it all. The more precise, the better. What is successful? What are the beliefs? What are the things that person, you know, does? What are the habits that person has? And then slowly but surely, slowly moving in that direction. Wherever you're at right now, be aware of what you're trying to live up to. Ask yourself what you want to live up to. Write it out in extreme detail. And as you mentioned, let your RAS fill in the gaps.
A major thing to keep in mind here is the fact that a lot of people are going to try to shut you down when you try to take on a new identity. I mean, it's fucking insane. And the mind is always getting its sense of reality. Your mind is always getting a sense of reality from two places. One is you determining your reality and your identity yourself from your experiences and who you want to be, and the other is from social feedback that is from the outside world, right? So right now, if everybody was cheering you on and saying, you're amazing, you have incredible skills, you have incredible talent, you're a cool guy, express yourself, be fun, laugh, enjoy life, be that cool guy, right? If everybody's saying that and cheering you on, that's easy, man. That's fucking easy. But, you know, let's say you come to an environment like this and you start talking to people and not everybody's nice to you. And then it's like, am I some loser? Is the environment putting pressure on me to be a loser? And maybe if you've ever had the experience of going out and talking to a lot of people and not everybody was super receptive, you feel how your emotional state goes down, and then because of your lowered emotional state, you feel the need to take on an identity that's congruent to that lower emotional state. So what starts to happen is that you actually, if you get shut down too much and social feedback gets too negative, you can actually irreversibly, if you're not careful, take on a negative identity that's very disempowering. On the other hand, when everybody's giving you great social feedback, it's pretty easy to take on a high identity. That's why parenting, again, is so critical. Some girls' dads will call them a slut. They're like, you're a little slut, little Susie. The second that they like dress in anything where they even look pretty or something like that, it messes the girl's head up, you know? Or as a guy, you try to hang out with people that are popular or fun, and all of a sudden, like, people are like, you're a fucking loser, you can't hang out with them. I mean, I can't even imagine the social pressure that, like, you know, you've had to push through. Even things like myself, like, you know, certain things that have been, like, in the public with me, certain things in the public with you, and just being like, fuck it, and just, like, having fun anyway, not having any social pressure affect you or shut you down? I mean, any thoughts on like what you went through that?
You try to change your identity, you create chaos within the group. And everyone else's identity gets challenged. So everyone's like, no, don't step up, be this person. Okay, so you have to go against your friends, against even your family, who are so used to you being this person here. And yeah, I mean, going through the media scandals,
because it's like if you're like a set of plants, it's like each plant's growing and has its own way of growing. And then if another plant starts shooting up, that plant's like, hey, why are you doing that? Who do you think you are?
And why are you making us feel bad? It's like we can all be that. It's like what, crabs in a bucket?
Crabs in a bucket syndrome, yes.
Crabs in a bucket.
I think the important thing to understand here is that your mind, again, looking for lanes, looking for where you fit in, and then it fills in the gaps, okay? If right now you got put into a high status position, at first it'll be awkward, and you wouldn't carry it. And then over time, your brain fills it in. It's almost like how, like someone becomes a hipster, right? It's like at first they start off with like a little bit of like some weird outlandish clothing, right?
Yeah.
And then they get like a bit of a longer beard, and a longer beard, and a longer beard. And then they get some other weird shit, and then they get a fixed gear bicycle, and then they start hanging out with hipsters. And this is your identity as far as wealth, even as far as your own spirituality or spiritual growth. You're like, okay, I'm somebody who doesn't flip out. I'm somebody who doesn't get negative. I'm somebody who's present. I'm somebody who has fun. And again, you'll fill in the gaps slowly. Your RAS, selective focus, fills that in and allows you to transform into that person. So you can even do things like experiments. Like, for example, try going out to places that are maybe a little bit above your social status level, where maybe you'd be a bit shy or uncomfortable. Maybe try hanging out with people that you think are too cool for you, but they're not. Okay, they're probably going to be friendly. You can even do things like, try going to here's so funny, right? Even go to restaurants where a more chic crowd hangs out. A lot of those restaurants, you'll never see anybody there that looks like they're not from that social group.
Yeah.
And yet, a lot of those restaurants are not even that expensive. Like, it's like Denny's is like $19, and this restaurant's like $32, but they won't even venture out. So that was a big thing for me, was like putting myself around people from a different space, getting around those people, and going to places where those people are at. Not to try to fit in or try to be Mr. Cool, but to realize that there's not a gap. It's like, I could be like that. And just allowing myself to change. Coming from where I came from in Canada, it was very dramatic. Like, even me just going to college, that was such a dramatic shift. Just being around the smart kids, from the background I came from, that was crazy.
Realize that your identity, a lot of it is because of the different environments or circumstances you've been in up until now, as you mentioned, like childhood, parenting, school, and be willing to move past that. Let go of it, and ideally it's like, now it's in your control. You could literally be like, I want to be this person. To be this person, what are the environments I'm going to have to go through to become that? What are the mindsets I'm going to have to develop to become that? What are the beliefs? What are the attitudes? And you can slowly, as you mentioned, baby step your way there and become that person.
Pick the identity that you want and allow the power of reticular activation system to slowly fill in the gaps. You can be incongruent for a while. You can be try hard for a while. People put social pressure on you. Power through that social pressure. Push on. Keep learning. Let your selective focus figure out how to fill in the painting, and soon you'll be an entirely new person. A lot of fun. You are your own best work of art. Hope you enjoyed the talk. We're going to get back to the party. Talk to you soon. Peace.
Like, this program is such a game changer. The way everything's structured and the material, it's been already, even for me, I'm noticing a crazy change in the way that my whole life's like playing out.
What you put together is just incredible. There's nothing like that.
I've just jumped like a million levels. It's just been a complete 180 for my experience of existing. That's awesome.
It's just been so huge in terms of so many of the things I'm finally understanding and realizing, and epiphanies I'm having.
What you do is a huge inspiration to me, and I think it's one of the most beautiful things you can give to another human in this entire world.
You saved my fucking life, man. I'm telling you, this is real, man.
Sometimes all it takes is just one person who believes in you. Find people who are where you are in life and model them, work with them. I would not be here if I didn't have people who held me accountable.
Wow. I just felt a click and things are changing.
This program was just top notch.
Seriously, like, this is a masterpiece. This is
this is perfect.
Everything, the way it's set up, the live calls, like all the support from the coaches is incredible.
It's been nuts. I just had my tears of joy.
This was the best decisions I ever made.
Thank you for creating something wonderful like this.
This program was phenomenal.
This program was amazing.
This program has definitely changed my life.
I know for a fact I'm in the right place.
This is exactly what I was expecting from the program.
It's been spectacular.
I feel really lucky to have found you.
Thank you so much, Julien. It's worth every dollar.